Hi everyone, my name's Emma and I am a third-year medical student studying in Sydney, Australia, and I like to be organized. It is Sunday afternoon and I have a busy week ahead of me, so I thought let's sit down, take the time. I'll take you through sort of my weekly organizing routine and I might as well share it with all of you because I'm going to do this anyways. So this is how I plan a week in my life as a medical student with a part-time job and involved in extracurriculars using Google Calendar, ToDoIst, and some written lists. And I'll kind of share my tips and tricks along the way. So if that interests you, then keep watching. Like I said, my name's Emma, and this will be a week sort of planning ahead with me. We're going to jump over to my desk and start with Google Calendar. Okay, now that we're here, let's open up Google Calendar and we can get started. I will start my screen recording as well. And there we go. So as you can see, this is for next week. I don't know when this will be published, but it's next week for me. And I'm starting my pediatric rotation, which is really exciting. I've already got my schedule set up, and you'll be able to see that if you watch this video, all about how I set up Google Calendar from the beginning of the semester or as soon as I get my schedule. So that's already there. The tricky part is some of the classes can shift depending on the week. So I haven't put those in yet. So let's go ahead and get that in first. So essentially, if you're doing this along with me, this would be sort of your commitments, your school classes that you have to attend. Pop those into your Google Calendar first. I like to do them in a different color, just to keep things separate in my mind. So they'll have the same color here, but then they'll be a different color overall. Okay, so it's not that many classes. You'll notice for me, I've got placement and classes at the same time. Obviously, we prioritize placement over the lecture, but if we're able to tune in, we do. And leaving them in my calendar lets me know that I have to make up that at another time. So watch the recording after the placement or something like that. So I still leave them in my calendar. So now that I've got my classes in there, I will do a quick double check of any like extracurriculars or my job and things, which I already have in there. Sort of everything yellow is sort of my life and extra things. So I have a fitness class, I'm going to the movies and things like that, which don't need to be tasked, but it's good to know for time blocking sake, and any other extracurriculars will come in and they'll get their own colors as well. So it's good that I have them there, but off the top of my head and my other lists, I don't have anything else that week yet. They could be scheduled. And once that's done, then I work my way through looking at the lectures or the extracurriculars and job tasks, things like that, and make a really rough list, whether that's on a scrap piece of paper or on the notepad on my computer, of the different tasks that I will have to do at some point during the week. So a bit of a brain dump of everything that you know you have to get done, as well as the things that you want to get done that week. Brain dumping can be, sometimes feel like a lot, and it makes your list very long, but again, this is everything that you could be wanting to do, needing to do, and things like that. Okay, now, how do we keep track of this really messy list of things, and how do we start to decide to schedule them out? So I've sort of developed, it's not new, but it's new to my routine, a bullet journaling technique I've sort of brought back into my like daily or weekly planning practice called the rolling weekly. Now, I still use Google Calendar and ToDoIst very heavily, but this is nice because I can just take it with me and it kind of sorts everything out in my brain and gives me structure to the time blocking that I do for the next day. So to recap, step 1 is get all of your commitments in your calendar. Step 2 is brain dump everything that you need to do. And step 3 is turn that into a rolling weekly. So I'm gonna have to turn you guys around to do that so you can see what I am doing. So I'm not sure how well you can see me, but this is a rough example of a rolling weekly that I didn't use super exceptionally well. But basically, to start it off, you are going to write your days of the week. So today is Sunday, but I like my week to start on Monday, just sort of mentally for myself up at the top. And then just for the sake of visualization, you divide them with a color. So I'm going to get to that, and then we can move on from there. And this is not going to be that pretty or that aesthetic. As you can see, my writing is not gorgeous, so no judgments allowed. So for the sake of it, I'm just going to use this purple. Using like a lighter color or something that doesn't stand out or is too obtrusive is good. And I just highlight every other day so I can easily see the days that I'm referencing. And that's pretty much your setup. The nice thing is, if you're using a different book, I could continue just down there. You just redo your date, and for the sake of the video, I'll do a new week. And as a glimpse, during the week, this can get really messy as I plan out what I'm doing for each day. So having this extra space isn't always a bad idea for me. Now I take my really messy brain dump, and I put this through here. So these are two things I have to do today, so I'm not going to put them on my brain dump, but I basically get everything else on there just listed down the side. And even then, as I'm writing these out, I am reminded of a couple new things. So you don't need to do this, but I like to put little headings, so like school, 2 extracurriculars, sort of other things that I need to do, just because it keeps this list sorted in my mind. And now what I do is, looking at my Google Calendar, having my Google Calendar up, I kind of look at when things would have to be done. So if any of this was pre-work for a lecture, I'd obviously want to have it done the day before. Luckily, I don't have, these are all sort of have to get through them at some point during the week, so they don't need to be assigned. But for example, this meeting call out would actually be good to happen today. If not, it must happen by Monday, because that's when the meeting is. So to indicate that I want to do something on that specific day, you just give it a nice little bullet point. So that tells me I want to get that done on Monday. And you kind of go through and do that for all of them. A true rolling weekly, or the way some people do, is they give each one of these a date. I find that that can make it really messy, especially with things that have flexible timing. So I may not give them an exact date yet, but some of these things, if they have a deadline or are time sensitive, they will get an exact date. So there's like emails and things to be sent out, so I'm going to give those on Monday because I can get those done easily. You're also kind of at the same time looking and seeing what else you've got going on during the week to help sort of map yourself out. I also have a couple workouts that I would like to do, so I'll add those in. And if something is something, if something is something, if it's going to repeat, you can give it multiple days. So I'll just extend my list here. Like I said, it's not aesthetic, but it's going to get it done. And I will just decide. So I have a fitness class on Wednesday that I'm really excited for. So I probably will want to work out again on Friday, maybe do something on Monday. I just worked out today, so that one might not happen. And Sunday. And then I will finish dotting some of these and we'll come back to it. Okay, so that's all I can really schedule for now. Just a tidbit about the rolling weekly in general. If you had a task, it was bulleted like that, and it was done, I would just draw a line across to the task so that I know that it's complete. If I have moved it, some people will do extra things, like they'll draw an arrow or something. I just move the dot along, and that lets me know that, oh, you haven't done it yet, you need to keep going. if something is canceled, I just cross it out so that I know that it hasn't been carried. If it comes to the end of the week and there's a task from earlier in the week that I didn't do that needs to be moved, I can carry it over and note to myself that it has to be migrated to next week. So that's sort of my little code. We've got complete, moved, migrated, and canceled. So now that I have my rolling weekly, we go to the final step of sort of Sunday prep, which is time blocking. So I know that I have all these things to do in the week, but in the evenings or the afternoons, I like to block the next day out if I can. So it's sort of looking at this, what do I have to get done tomorrow, and what could I get done if I have the extra time. So for that, we hop back to Google Calendar. Okay, welcome back. So we'll hop back into Google Calendar now with our rolling weekly and our giant to-do list of everything for that week. We look at the next day. I like to take things day by day. Some people like to time block out their entire calendar, but let's go back to our screen recording and see how I do this one. Perfect. You also see that I'm vlogging this week, hopefully, so that should be out at some point. But yeah, so tomorrow I have peds ward starting in the morning, so I know that given I probably commute for about an hour, not much is happening in the morning, and that's okay. And then I don't know what time I'll get out of the wards. I'm scheduled till 2, but I might go early, I might not, and then I'll commute home for about an hour, so I probably have sort of 2 hours in here to do something. So looking at what I have to get done, if they're not already done by tonight, is I do have to do a meeting call out, which should actually happen in the morning. I'm actually going to put that to happen on my way, so it's something I can do on my phone. I'll put during like my commuting hours, which is fine. And then if you've already seen it, I do have a video of how I link ToDoIst with my Google Calendar and back and forth. So if I list it as tasks, it will show up in ToDoIst and remind me to do that tomorrow morning while I'm just scrolling on my phone anyways. So anything that I put a dot to be done for Monday gets scheduled into Monday. So let's do that. Don't know that I'll get a workout in, but that's okay. So now for time blocking, so like these sort of videos that I have to do eventually during the week and or just general study, I have a little calendar for color for my Google Calendar called time blocking. So I will put that in blocking right there, and that will be study. And I will put a couple goals to do. So since it's the beginning of the unit, I don't have as much to revise, so I'll try to see if I can get through a couple of these videos. I don't know how long they are, but I'll put them in so that when I go to sit down and study, I have a plan and I know what I will be studying during that time. And hopefully it helps me stay on track. And then after the meeting, I'll have dinner, and then in the evening I might have like a little bit of extra time to do maybe some revision of the previous week's things to do. And we'll block that out as well. So it looks kind of messy, and when I check it on my phone, the way I have it set up is I won't see the little tasks right away. So I will know that I have peds wards, a meeting, and some time blocked, and that will help me when I wake up in the morning sort of shape my day. And yeah, that's how I get myself sort of ready for a week as much as you can be. So just to quickly recap, step 1, go to Google Calendar and put in all of your required tasks or your required meetings and attendance, so your classes, your schedule, that kind of thing. Step 2, brain dump all of the tasks that you have to do and the tasks that you want to do that week, and just dump them all onto a piece of paper. You can do this while you're uploading your Google Calendar and updating it, or afterwards. Step 3, make it in a rolling weekly so things are scheduled and you have a rough idea of when you want to get them done. And then step 4, is that what we're on? time block out your next day back in Google Calendar. And if you're super savvy, you've got that synced to your ToDoIst app, so your phone will remind you. And you might be thinking, Emma, you've got it in your phone and you've got it written here. Why? As you'll see, some things don't always get scheduled as a task because some of these things I don't necessarily have to do. It's a want, and therefore they don't need to go in ToDoIst necessarily. Also, it's nice if I sit down to study, I can put my phone away and I still have the topics and things that I have to get done with a rough plan of when in a hard copy form, so I'm not tempted to check my phone and get sucked into social media. So that's why I duplicate things. It also helps put it in my head at the beginning of the week where I need to go from there. So that's everything. I hope that helps. Have a good week if you just sat down to plan your week with me, and I will see you in the next one. Make sure you like this video if you want more organization study tips, that kind of thing. Comment down below what you're studying or what week of your semester you're in, or just what is your favorite way of keeping track of the things you have to do. And subscribe if you want to see more about my journey to and my journey through medicine. And now I can say it. I will see you in the next one.